Ashfaq, what seems to be the problem?
I'm having a huge problem in my business, brother.
What kind of problem?
I have a huge loss in my business. I did all my transactions properly. I never expected this. I think it all started when I did my transactions through credit, I guess.
Credit. Do you know what is credit? What is credit? How did Ashfaq's business fail? What is doing business in credit transactions and what is bad debts? Let me explain it to you. Credit transaction is when you give your products. Say for example, you have a pencil that you manufacture. So you take 50 pencils and you give it to a customer for credit. That means you don't ask for the money directly. Rather, you give him a time period, say per month or 3 months, and after he sells all those 50 pencils, he returns your money back. So when he returns the money, your credit is paid. But in most cases, what happens is your customer doesn't pay you back. So this is what you call bad debts. So as we all know, Ashfaq's business has failed. But not only Ashfaq's business, there are so many other businesses who rely on credit transactions and they face huge bad debts which end up in huge losses. So how do we stop these companies going up to bankruptcy? For this we need something to forecast a business's bankruptcy by taking their financial details. So I think this is our main problem background when it comes to the Credit Mart application.
As we explained previously, bad debt amount of a company can hugely affect its financial health. So, how we can identify these bad debtors and what measures we can take after identifying these bad credit customers? To answer these questions, we have to be familiar with few financial terms. When a borrower is unable to meet their debt obligations, we call it as a default period. This can be noted for each company through probability of default. For now on, we will call this PD. Now, this PD is used in a variety of credit analysis and risk management frameworks. So how do we calculate the probability of certain company or person? What Z-score and marathon models are widely used credit scoring models for credit PD calculations. Most financial institutions and banks are using these mathematical models to analyze the reliability of their customers. But these models are not suitable for use in the context of small and medium scale businesses. It has been proven by many researchers. In case of our research gap, I would like to divide this into two parts. The first one is technical gap and the market gap. For the technical gap, as I explained previously, these mathematical models cannot be used for small and medium scale businesses. So there is a clear gap which we can propose a machine learning model which can use in these certain conditions. In our project, we have built a model based on logistic regression to calculate the probability of default of a certain company. And it has given around 74% of accuracy. And talking about the market depth of our project, currently we have the Credit Information Bureau of Sri Lanka, which is a credit information management system. But this is not really focused to users of businesses. And this is mostly focused for banks and financial institutions who are issuing loans. In our project, we are developing a credit information system which is very easy to use and handle for anyone in this country. And thank you. This is our.
So Ashfaq, what are you going to do with your business?
I don't know, brother. This bad debts is giving me a huge headache.
Is that bad debts are here? I know a person who can solve it.
Yeah, that's me. As Safras explained, I think you might have idea about what is bad debts and how that's gonna affect your business. So what you can do? What if I say you can forecast your future losses? Yeah, that's Credit Mart. In Credit Mart, you can forecast your customers' probability of being bankrupt. And not only that, we given you a solution, providing a credit limit for your customers. All you have to do is just sign into Credit Mart and update your profile. In Credit Mart, we have some components might helpful for your business. Mainly, we have an admin dashboard where you can monitor your PD and some of credit sales and other stuffs. And we have profile. In profile, you can update your own profile and you can monitor your credit limit of your own credit limit, and you can monitor your PT value as well. And next, our main component, search. In search component, you can search companies by its name. Companies means your customers, and you can look into their PD values and their credit limit, and you can decide whether you want to contact with him or not. So that's Credit Mart. Don't be like Ashwa. Try Credit Mart.
I'm going to talk about the data science component of our project. So the main goal of our data science component is to predict the degree of PD of a certain company from given financial inputs about the company. To do that, mainly we are using a dataset which is downloaded from the machine learning repository, and we have 64 financial indicators which represent for each company and the bankruptcy status of those particular companies. And talking about this dataset, there is a huge class imbalance. When we do some study tests, we found that there is a heavy class imbalance, and so that we had to take some precautions before implementing the model. And this model is mainly we have few features. First one is the feature selection, then scaling and random oversampling and undersampling for because of the class imbalance, and the pipeline implementation. So the first, I have imported the dataset from the CSV file, and then after then, since that we have a large number of features to look at, instead of going through them one by one, we will apply some statistical test and look at the subset of them based on the test results. In principle, given that we only have continuous features, we will apply one-way ANOVA F-test to each feature to determine whether there is a statistically significant difference between the feature means of bankrupt versus non-bankrupt companies. And from that, I have found 14 effective features which could highly affect the degree of PD of a certain company. And from the and these 14 features are mapped to another data frame to so that we can use it to train the model. And here I have visualized these 14 features based on the bankrupt versus non-bankrupt, and here you can see a significant difference, and also we can detect some outliers from these features. And for the outliers, we will use, since that if the dataset contains many outliers, scaling using the mean and variance of the dataset likely to not work very well. For this reason, I will use a robust scaler. It scales the dataset according to the median and interquartile range, which are more robust to outliers. So that I have used mainly robust scaler for the as the scale of our data set. And after then I have splitted this data set to a test set and the training set from 0.2 ratio. So 80% is goes to training data set and 20% goes for the test set. And then I have used both random oversampling and random undersampling for this dataset because of the heavy class imbalance in our dataset. When talking about the class imbalance, there is only 5% of data which we have about the default data. So we have to be very careful when we are splitting the dataset from the dataset. So then after we have come to the pipeline part. The pipeline is doing mainly few steps like we are scaling from the through the pipeline, and also using the using and doing validation, and also the doing the test matrix, and also train the dataset into the model. So here you can see I have implemented two pipelines, which is for oversampling one and undersampling one. Then we choose the best one based on the scores they have got. So here there is not we can't find much difference between the oversampling and undersampling pipeline. So I decided to use the oversampling go with oversampling pipeline. And here it's also you can see the learning curve per pipeline. And here I have this is the testing matrices of our model, and here you can see the accuracy of 74% for this model. And talking about the confusion matrix, here we have a little bit low amount of default events because we have low amount of default events in our original data set. So that's all about my data science component.
Hey guys, Safras here to explain about the backend part of the CreditOut application. So the backend is purely built on Django. Django is a Python-based application. The main reason for using Django is due to its great libraries provided by Django for data science and machine learning, such as scikit-learn, NumPy, pandas, which provide easy interface and it's easier to work with them. So that is the main reason for using a Python base for this application. So moving on to the web application, the Django provides a settings.py. So this contains all the main settings for the Django project. So let me go through a few. So Django provides its inbuilt administration, applications, authentication, and a few other libraries like REST framework must be manually installed. So the REST framework library is used for sending and receiving RESTful APIs, and REST framework auth token is to create authentication token for users, session authentication and such. Then I have installed course headers for cross-origin resource sharing between the front end and the back end. So it also contains a set of middleware which I am not going to explain at the moment due to the time limit. So moving on, so we have a database. We have a MySQL database connected, which is hosted by cloud clusters. So these are the credentials to log into the database from the Django backend. So that will be all for the settings.py. Next, let's move into the main backend part, which consists of models, views. So the models basically are the classes for the backend application. The classes the classes used here are mainly company class and a financial details class. So as you can see, both the company class and the financial details class inherit from the Django database model. So the reason why we extend from the Django database model is so that whenever you need to create or delete a company class or an object, you don't need to interact with the database. When we inherit from this, Django will directly use its own APIs to interact with the database and create and delete the fields. So it makes it much easier for us to deal with the database. So you don't even need to know MySQL if you are using Django. So company class consists of a user. So the user is imported from the Django authentication model. So every user can create a company class. So the company class contains some company name, contact number, location, business type, and a description. So moving on to the financial details. So we have the financial year, and all the other financial details. And finally, we have a company which will be a foreign key. Therefore, there will be a one-to-many relationship here. One company can have many financial details, but every financial detail belongs to one particular company. So that is the base idea of the classes here. So moving on to the views. So the views are like controllers when considering the MVC pattern. So for controllers we have views in Django. Let me explain just one view. I'll explain to you the user sign up view. So the user sign up view is inherited from the Django REST framework's API view. So giving a function here to accept only post request. So we are expecting a username, email, and password from the client. So once we receive that, we are checking if the user name already exists. If it exists, we are returning a response, a JSON response saying that the username already exists, and we are giving a status code, a 400 band request. If the username doesn't exist, we can create one. So here we are creating a new user. With that, we are creating a token object. So this is the authentication token provided by the Django REST framework. So we are returning a response message saying user created, and we are returning the token. So in case any other exception happens, we are handling it right here. So that is one of the API view I have explained here. And how does this API view connect with a URL? So that is the next question coming to mind. So the Django provides a urls.py. So here we need to include all our URLs. So this is the sign up URL which I was talking about. So the path here is sign up. So it will be localhost 8000 if you're running a localhost server /sign up, which would direct to the user sign up class, which I had done in the user views.py. So that is how the models connect to the view connects to the URL. So that is the basic idea of the entire web framework part of the application. Except for that, we have other pip files and pip file logs. So these are all pip envs to manage the environment. A proc file. This is using Gunicon web application. It's a web server gateway interface, which is used at the deployment status, which I am not interested. So I think that is all. Thank you for listening.
Hi there, I'm Abdul Basit. When it comes to our Credit Mart application, the front end is done using React.js and also the styling is done by Tailwind CSS. So now I'll take you through the code explanation and also the display of our Credit Mart application. So first of all, let's go and see how our Credit Mart application looks. So this is the home page, which has all the details of Credit Mart application, and there is a login and also sign up. So if we go for the login, we can log in. So it redirects us for the dashboard. The dashboard holds the information of all the details of the company and also their financial data. So there's a profile. So if we go to the profile, we can see all the data has been displayed in the profile. So there's edit profile, which used to edit the profile details, and also an add financial data, which used to add a new financial data. And also we have explore page, which used to search for companies. So we can search for company. So if we search for one company like Motor Depot, so we can search for this and see the credit limit. So now I'll take you through the code explanation of our front end, so we can get a clear understanding about it. So first of all, there's a home page created, and also in the app.js I have set all the routes in our application. So that's typically the routing between pages. So now let's go into register. The register page is created. So in this one there is a we have done all the validations through validate method, and also it's a post request which use Axios instance, which is created under this axios.js, which sends a header in every request. It takes the token from the local storage and set it as authorization token. So in the register we send a post request. In that post request, the data is sent username, email and password. And also in the login we used to send a post request same as that, username and password. And the response we get is a token, so we store the token in the local storage. Let me show where the token stored. So we can inspect it. So when we inspect, we can go for performance application. So inside application we can see the token is stored there. So let's go back to the code. In this code there's a cards which are used in the dashboards. So in this card we used to take the details of the companies and show it in the dashboard. So if we go to dashboard, we used to call these cards inside the dashboard to display the card details. And also the explore page is here, which used to search for the companies by giving an input of the company name or business type. So that's it for the front end development.
Hi, this is Ashfaq from Team 50 Cent, presenting you the Credit Mart application, which brings a solution in reducing the bad debts during credit transactions of a business. I will be demonstrating and evaluating the application, so let us dive through in. This is the home page of the application. Here we have a small description about what our application does. Basically, it is an application to reduce the bad debts during a transaction which is done by credit within a business. So down below we have our development team. These are the developers of this application. And below here we have a feedback form which will be sent by the users to the development team. And back, now to start up we have to just sign up through this application. So we enter a name, By then we have signed up to the application, and we have to enter details of the company. Once we submit, the data gets saved, and we have to add the financial data for at least 3 years. We add data for at least 3 years to get a considerable amount of the rate for the probability of default and the credit limit. Here, since we have not added any data, we have the credit limit as 0 and the probability of default as 0 too. And I'm going to add data for 3 years. So I have saved data for 3 years, and this is the probability of default chart, and this is the sales chart, and these are the financial data that I have entered, and these are the ratios of the corresponding elements, corresponding features. This page gives the dashboard of the current profile of the user which has logged in, and when I go to the profile page, here I get the credit limit. This is the amount, this is the credit limit amount the user can have, and this is the probability of default rate. This is calculated based on the financial data input. Here then we can go to the explore page, and we can search for other companies which are signed in. Let me search for a company which is already existing in this system. Oops, there's something wrong. So there's a company name with this name, and I can search this by clicking on this, and it says I'm visiting their page right now, and I can view their credit limit and their probability of default rate, and I can go back. When it comes to the contract page, we have kept this page for future enhancements. So then after we finish our work, we have made the possibilities to log out from the application. By clicking this logout, you can sign out from this page. And if I need to log in again, I have to just click on this and enter the credential details that are necessary. And then I can use my application once again.
I'm Kavitha from Team 50 Cents. In our Credit Mart web application implementation, there are 4 main parts. They are front end, back end, data science component, and the database. When it comes to the contribution of our team to the project, The data science component and some backend components were done by Oshan. Safras contributed to the backend of our project and did some database handling also. Login and sign up authentications and some front-end and back-end components were done by Basit. Ashfaq did some front-end creations for our web application and Navidu contributed to the data science component of our project. Both Ashfaq and Navidu were done the UX UI part of our project and did some data cleansing of the data science component. Finally, myself contributed to the front-end components of our project and to the data science component of our project. So that's all about our Credit Mart web application. Thanks for watching our video.